Morning. It's Saturday. It's a beautiful Saturday too. It's the weirdest thing. During the week, I have the hardest time waking up. Saturdays, I wake up at 5:30 every single week. It's just weird. The rest of the week, I struggle. But we're just kind of having an easy day today. Christian's walking birds today, so I don't have to go to the farm to check chickens. And Dad said he's gonna just ride around and check everybody, and he's gonna bale some hay this afternoon. So he told me just hang at the house. So I'm just kind of hanging out here. I'm not really planning on doing a whole lot today because I'm a little bit wore out. So farming's one of those things that you can work every single day of the week if you want to, but you're gonna pay for it eventually. I was glad I don't dairy farm anymore because it's every day. At least with beef cows and chickens, you can kind of take a day where it's like, oh, I don't really have to do a whole lot. Oh, there we go. I'm gonna walk in here and mess with these baby bulls a little bit and keep getting them assimilated to us being in pastures. Morning, boys. How we doing? Getting some good grass. You got pretty decent grass out here. Pretty good for not having rained in 2 weeks. Crabgrass is finally out. Hey, Karen. Hey, Bubba. You gonna lose your baby fuzz eventually? Come here, Fergus. This is an important part of having good, docile, content bulls. It's just being out here with them. I hate that they rub on the fences. I got to pull some high tensile wire around my perimeters just to keep them off the new fences that we just had put up where they stretch them out completely. I'm just going to spend a little time in here with these boys this morning. Figure since I got a little time this morning, I've got some spot spraying I need to do. I got some dog fennel and some thistle growing in a couple parts of this pasture that I didn't get a good spray on in the spring. So Tractor Supply had some generic remedy on sale, so we're gonna get the sprayer in the back of the Polaris and a little water and go get this stuff sprayed out. Okay, so got my chemical here. Like I say, it's generic remedy. I will try to pronounce it's a triclofluor and a 2,4-D mixture, so it's a little bit stronger than a straight 2,4-D. Label says spot spray 4 ounces per gallon of water, so we are going to put 96 ounces of chemical in the sprayer and fill it the rest of the way with water, and that will be our mix. So I always like to add water to the bottom of my spot sprayer to add chemical in, just so that it doesn't settle to the bottom. And we'll put it on full agitation once we get it in there. But we got our quart size calibration cup, so we're going to pour out 64 ounces and then another 32. So essentially 3 quarts. Put 3 quarts in there, and then we're going to put an ounce to the gallon of surfactant. So 24 ounces of surfactant in there. I use Fast Track. It's expensive, but boy, does this stuff work nice. It really helps tremendously with your sticker so that it sticks to them oily leaves. Well, that stuff stinks. The only thing about this stuff is it's got a potent smell to it. Alright, so there's 64 ounces. We'll go 32. Add the rest of our water and our surfactant. We'll get out there and start spraying. So this stuff will kill It's a selective herbicide, so it's going to kill mainly broadleafs and woody type plants. So it won't kill your grass. It will kill your white clover though. So if you got white clover and you don't want to kill that white clover, I suggest you use another product called Nova Graze. It handles it'll clean up about 40 different weed types, but will save your white clover. It is expensive. It's about $70 a gallon. So, and you run it 24 ounces to the acre. It does a really nice job. That's what we've been spraying here. It's done a really nice job of cleaning our pastures up. 24 ounces of surfactant. So that puts us almost a full gallon of product to 24 gallons of water. Still have yet to master this one-handed thing trying to farm and do stuff. So triple rinse our calibration cup. That's all poured in. Finish adding water and turn it on agitation. I swear I'm gonna get better at this video and stuff for you. I'm just excited to be able to share kind of what we do. A lot of people don't know how we do this kind of stuff. And I think there's a lot of people out there that really would like to learn how to farm and do these kind of things. So we're gonna turn our pump on. Let's see, turn the wand off. Turn the agitation on. Turn our pump on. Just gonna let that stir while we add the rest of our water. See in there, we got agitation going. I'll add, sometimes depending on the product, I'll add a defoamer just because it likes to foam. This stuff is not too bad about foaming, but like your Roundup products or any kind of glyphosate, just that stuff foams off so bad. So if you put like an ounce of defoamer to one of these tanks, it keeps the tank pretty clean, and it keeps it so that like when you get that last little bit at the bottom of the tank, it's just not all froth. But we're gonna fill this up and we're gonna find enough work to do to spray out 25 gallons worth of product. Here we go, off to the first spot. Look how green my pastures are. It looks great even though it ain't rained in 2 weeks again. Actually got some grass out there. We got through an NRCS grant, we were able to put in about 3,000 foot of fence. So we did some cross fencing and some stream exclusions, and it has been absolutely wonderful having those opportunities to do that, because now we can actually properly rotate our pastures. So the nosy nosers are going to come and check out what's going on. They hear this Polaris run and they want to know what is happening because they think they're going to get fed. We're going to go up here. We're going to work on the stuff in the pasture first. We got a couple pastures I need to cover, and then we'll work on this ditch bank right here. I have been working on this ditch bank for about 3 years now, trying to get it cleaned up to where we got good grass growing, but keeping the weeds at bay. So finally starting to get some Johnson grass, which I actually like Johnson grass in my pastures. So let that grow up along the ditch banks, and then if we get a north wind when it goes to seed, it all blows into our pastures. So maybe we get a little free seeding from the wild grasses that are just out there. Get this gate unlocked. Hopefully I picked the right key. Nope, never can get the right key on the first try. All right. Hang there. You can see there a cross fence that we got put in. So essentially we took one pasture and made it into 3. then we split another pasture so that it's its own deal because we excluded it from the creeks. But this ground up here is always, it's hard. It's really hard ground. It's red dirt. It doesn't grow grass really well unless we have a lot of rain. But we are going to be doing some pasture reclamation this fall as well. So we're actually going to come in here and we're going to no-till in some fescue and some fall forage, and we're going to let this, I may let both of these go all the way till May of next year before I turn the cows out on it. So I just got to see how things progress and what our hay burn looks like. So, but this is the stuff we're trying to get rid of. This dog fennel. This stuff will absolutely take over your farm, and it's in a spot where it's like, you can see I sprayed it once before and the thistles died, but the dog fennel came in after. So I'm not always about, like, you see weeds going broadcast. I will spot spray some places like this that I know I'm gonna have a tough time controlling with the broadcast application. Plus, I don't like to over applicate with a broadcast situation because I don't really want to cause any more stress to my grass, because it's finally starting to get good and filling in, and our Bermuda's coming in, and I don't want to set any of that stuff back just because of a few weeds here or there. So cows do a pretty good job of keeping it cleaned up, but we'll spray these couple spots, and if it gets to where it's too stemmy, we'll just come in and bush hog it and try to mechanically control it as well. But that's kind of what we're working on. So I'm gonna get my wand out and we'll start treating some of this stuff. So we got to switch over. We've been agitating for about 10 minutes. Turn that off. Turn our wand on. Get the wand out here. Probably should actually spray some through the wand back into the tank. Make sure that my wand is primed. That in there and let that cycle back into the tank for a few minutes. Sure agitation, and then also prime my line to make sure I'm putting out enough. There's no water left in that line, just chemical, because I flushed it after the last time I used it, so there probably was just straight water in that line, and straight water ain't going to do anything unless it's got a little chemical in it. That, boy, they want to come in here in the worst way, but they got good grass where they're at. They're just needy. So a little bull thistle right there. See you, buddy. So that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna ride around. We're gonna spray all this dog fennel and try to get this cleaned up. I'll give you an update in a couple weeks, let you know how it looks. A lot of people come in and spray their fence lines and with Roundup and just kill everything under the fence lines. And I've kind of gotten away from that, actually. I like to just go through with a selective herbicide and just keep the weeds down and let the grass grow in, because it helps with our soil erosion. And then also, I mean, the cows are going to clean up to the edges. So this little stuff right here, we'll spray this a little bit. Spray this junk right here. This was a spot where we had a burn pile and it's now cleaned up. The weeds and bare dirt get along real good. Right. You see, we put in these fences here to exclude the creeks to help with erosion. So it's doing its job. I've got to put a heavy use area in here where it gets kind of wet, where the cows walk. Hi, babies. What you doing? You okay? I'm like, hey guy, let us in that pasture. So we'll just ride this fence edge and see where we got any weeds cropping up, and we'll just selective spot spray. Really looking for is thistle That whatever that stuff is, it's like a water weed. Thistle dog fennel, and I call it yellow dick. My wife hates that name, but I mean, it's a common name for it. We got some nettle, a little nettle in a couple spots. It's a little too early to be spraying nettle. But look at the thistle there. Got some baby dog fennel. I'm not saying you got to go spray everything, and you need your pastures to be completely weed free. A little bit of chemical goes a long way. I'm not always a big proponent of just blasting chemicals because I don't think it does real good things for your soil health, because there needs to be some biodiversity in your soils. But at what point is the threshold? Like this stuff right here, this dog fennel, it'll take over your whole place. And it'll ruin it. It'll ruin your grass. So there's some ways to mechanically control it. You can try to bush hog it and that kind of stuff. But in a drought year, when you don't have a lot of grass to come in and choke out that weed, it won't do what it needs to, because your grass never has time to recover, and the weeds start dragging up all your moisture. And at the end of the day, we're trying to grow grass to feed cows, not weeds. So at some point, you got to make that decision that you're going to do some chemical applications just to keep things under control. Now, next year I may not need to spray, because this is the second year in a row that we have applied a fall herbicide. We've applied a fall herbicide and a spring herbicide, so we may be pretty close to being done with our major weeds. And then if I could just go through and do like I'm doing now and just spot spray stuff, that's what I'm gonna do. This little pasture has been a labor of love too. I've been cleaning it up slowly but surely. We're about 3 years into cleaning it up, and I finally got some pretty decent grass to grow. This little pond, at some point I'm going to try to reclaim it and maybe dig out the edges a little bit more so that it actually looks pretty good. But this pond bam gets a lot of junk growing on it. So, and this back here, this is all fill dirt, and my neighbor's actually going to come and take most of this. So I don't have a use for it, and all it does is grow weeds. So figure if he wants it, he can have it. It does grow good Johnson grass though, I will say that. Cows, you'll see the cows up on top of these hills, they'll be eating all this stuff. But I'm gonna let them in here probably after the weekend and let them eat this stuff down. They usually do a pretty good job of cleaning all that up, so I'm not even gonna spray that right now. Well, it looks like the neighbor dog has been digging under the fence right here. Got a pretty good trail leading back up to their house. I guess I need to put a camera back here and keep an eye on this. I've been having so many problems with the neighbors' dogs coming in the yard, messing with my dogs, being in with the cows. It'll get better and then it'll get worse. It'll get better and then it'll get worse. Well, got that done. 25-gallon sprayer sprayed out. I figured I'd find enough work for all of it. So got the field edges cleaned up, sprayed the spot spraying that I needed to in the pastures. The one by the pond really could probably use a broadcast, but we'll see. Let the cows in there, let that graze it down, and I'll go back and check it again. And I'll make that determination if we need to broadcast it or not. Everything else looks pretty good. Not too weedy, pretty clean for the most part. Well, here we are, small animal sale. It's exactly what we need. Like, we need a emu, like a hole in the head. Look at that little Highlands. Look at them. Whoa, look at the look on Dorri's face. Ooh. Let's see what else we got around the corner. What's that?
Look at that side. Look at how cute it is.
Oh, it's so cute. Looky here. Look at the little Galloway. The little Belton. Oh, look at that little midget. It's a midget. Gosh, you're weird looking.
Huh?
They're weird looking. Little stumpy legs. Hi. Are you sweet? Oh, you are so sweet. You got some bad hooves. Bottle babies. Oh, baby, look. One right in there with it too. That little caramel looking thing with that little white looking thing, kind of cute.
Yeah, the white.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's cute.
The little zebus are weird looking.
Yeah.
Another little belted. There's a big old Highland in there too. There's a brown one in there.
I don't know where the red and white little Highland mini girl.
Yeah, what's in that pen over there?
She's like supposed to be teeny tiny.
Yeah.
700. Sold 675. What's that fire number? 10, 50, 1,050, 10, 50, all done. 1,050. I got $1,000.
Look at these stupid things.
Well, that make a good chicken nugget. I don't know how you tell they want Robbie Miller for a girl. I don't know how you tell. Alright, I ain't making no sound now, so I don't know. I can't tell. You buy them. You can get one or both of them. I don't know how you just buy one. You get two of them. I don't know. Give 600.
It looks so mean.
600 a piece. About 500.
Like sizing everybody.
$400. Somebody out to give $300. $300. Somebody told me to dig up ant hills. Well, that's true or not. 300. Another 250. 225.
And that right there is a pig. Good Lord, mercy. Look at that thing. That thing probably weighs 500 pounds.
I hauled one out of here a couple months ago.
Big old bitty side boys. I don't think you should pick yourself in. I don't think you 605. 863 is next. I'm gonna give you 110. 110, one time. Hold on, 80, now 5. 75, 80, now 5. 85, 99, 95, 90.
Well, we didn't end up buying anything at the small animal sale, thankfully. We did bid on some calves, and I took one of them up to about $800, and then they went past that. With calves, with the way prices are on feed and milk replacer, for me to make any money, I got to buy them for less than $800. So otherwise, we're just breaking even. So I always try to, if I can get them for less than 800, I'll get them. But there was some wild stuff there. They always have some weird stuff come through with the small animal sale. Well, we always like to try to go out and support our friends over at the Saluda Livestock Exchange. Even if we don't buy anything, I'll help run a bid up here or there, you know, that kind of stuff. One day we'll actually buy something from that sale. When that's going to be, I have no idea. But we'll keep going. Eventually we'll buy something. We actually had intentions of buying some sheep, but the ones that Dorri wanted didn't sell, and we were there till 3:30, and they still hadn't come through. And I said, we just can't sit here any longer. So, but they have I don't know how many hundreds of thousands. Well, they probably had 2,000 animals go through that barn on Saturday, which is awesome for them. But anyways, thanks for following along. Hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next video.